So I found this question really interesting because my first thought was to think about what are the actual activities that I'm doing in the class that are interactive, that have worked. And I thought about, being in Collaborate and using some of the polling options and using links for them to fill out Google Forms and work on an open Google Doc together and things like that. And I thought I could talk about those sort of things. But when I really think about it, I don't think it so much matters exactly what the activities are that you're doing, if you're establishing the groundwork for them beforehand. So what I mean for that is, like, first off, being enthusiastic and showing interest in your own subject is really important. If you don't care, they don't care. And they can tell if you don't care. Apathy, negativity, those types of things are contagious. And it's much easier for a student to latch onto being apathetic or being negative about a subject than it is to get them to feel positive about the class. So I think it's just really important to begin with that you're enthusiastic, that you show that you care, because that's more likely to get them to care about anything that you're doing, whether it's, in the live synchronous type of format or whether it's in the seated classroom. And once I started thinking about that, then I started thinking about, well, it's not just enthusiasm, but again, I still don't necessarily think it's about the particular activity that you're doing. So some of the other things that I thought about were, like, just being honest with them about your own experiences with the topic. I'm trying to keep this kind of generic, but it's kind of going to go toward writing because that's what I've been teaching for 12 years. But, I often tell my students little anecdotes about my own experiences with writing and in the classroom, things that past instructors made me do, especially if they were ridiculous things that ended up proving kind of useless to me in the future. Like I love to tell the story of a graduate school class in which basically I was forced to memorize the entire MLA handbook. Yeah, it was just as awful as it sounds. And, I'll tell them, I experienced this. And then the very next semester, MLA changed a bunch of its standards and made all of that knowledge pretty much obsolete. And so I tell them, you might experience in some other classes where you have instructors, giving you tests or quizzes, asking you to memorize different ways of formatting, but I won't ever make you do that. And here's why, and figuring out, how I figured out what was beneficial for me in that particular topic, and that is why I choose to teach that topic in this way. I feel like being really transparent about your decision-making process in why and how you're presenting what you're presenting. I think when you're open with them, that really helps them with their motivation, and helps them understand that you've been thoughtful about this. You're not just throwing assignments at them because that's what you have to do as their team. But ultimately, I think that honesty, openness, and inquiring about how they're actually doing are the things that get students to engage with you.